officials. Let me turn now to the Johnson & Johnson vaccine mess. Of course, everyone knows we're about 4 days now into this pause requested by the CDC after there were 6 cases of rare blood clotting disease. 1 woman died out of nearly 7 million J&J shots. Here's what some of the pundits had to say.
This will increase vaccine hesitancy. People are going to read these headlines today and I think, become understandably concerned.
It seems possible there may be more going on here. It is possible, in fact, that this vaccine is more dangerous than they're indicating it is. And federal authorities today appeared to acknowledge that.
Well, it seems to me that many in the media are not exactly buying the White House line that this is no big deal.
Yeah, well, the White House line is it's no big deal, but all of their government bodies underneath them are acting like it is a big deal. They've, quote-unquote, paused. The FDA's paused the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which, by the way, I'll be up front with you, I received about 2 weeks ago. But I also understand basic math. What are we looking at? A 1 in 1 million problem that might exist? You know how many risks we take throughout our day that carry a greater risk than 1 in 1 million? I mean, this is the equivalent of reporting on shark attack stories as though they're a major problem. And it's worse than that, Howard. It's worse than the shark attack, hyperinflation of the import of that story, because now people are going to be afraid to take a vaccine. In fact, they can't because it's been taken off the market with such minuscule risks. I don't know what we're doing. I mean, we're not being led by science. Well, what are we trying to accomplish? Zero risk aversion? Like, what are we doing?
Well, you put your finger on it because while the president assures us, Mo, there will be enough vaccines for everybody, and obviously the J&J vaccine will be brought back, what about the impact of people who are already reluctant or don't want to get vaccinated?
Absolutely.
Yeah, look, I think vaccine hesitancy is an issue that we all need to be tackling here. I hope more people choose to take the vaccine. I think it's important for all of us. And I do worry that the way this gets messaged is concerning. Now, what this tells me is that the system is working, that, number one, I'm not sure that I think, and we're hearing this from Dr. Fauci, that it is likely that they are going to come back with J&J fairly quickly, that there was enough that they just want to study this to make sure that this isn't a bigger problem, and that there's enough of Moderna and Pfizer in the system right now so that it won't slow down the number of vaccinations that there are, and we're not seeing the same sort of challenge or anomaly with those. So I do hope that people see that the system is working. There are the safeguards put in place to protect us all throughout this process. And I suspect, based on everything we're hearing, that J&J will be back out there as soon as possible.
Well, just briefly, are the media in covering this overplaying it, perhaps spreading fear? Because after all, these government actions have been taken, and right now you can't get the one-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine. The others, of course, require 2 doses.
The system is not working, and the media is spreading fear on purpose. I don't know how we can say a system is working that seems to be operating.
Why on purpose? Why do you say on purpose?
Because it's good for ratings. Because it's good for ratings. They've been doing it for a year. They've scared us. I think I'm speaking an absolute objective truth. They've been overhyping, overinflating the fear of walking outside. They're telling us right now that if you're vaccinated, Dr. Fauci is saying, and they're repeating, if you're vaccinated, you can't eat indoors with a friend, that you still need to wear a mask outdoors. All of this is anti-science. All of it is something beyond being driven by the data. You tell me, what's it driven by? A thirst to hang on to power, fear porn, virtue signaling? It's not by data and science.
Well, I understand your concern, but go ahead, Mo.
I just got to say, I disagree with Will, that I think it is that approach that is what is driving, that's more rating driven, that is raising questions about a system, and that's going to do more to increase vaccine hesitancy than anything that Dr.
One of these
Fauci
positions is backed up by science and one is not.
Got to get to a break here. Obviously, scientists disagree about risk factor, and 1 in a million does seem pretty low. We'll talk to Frank Luntz about the coverage of the border crisis, but when we come back, the media focus on another